Good day to all of you. Welcome to the program agenda. I'm your host, Cito Beltran, thanking you for being subscribers of Cignal TV, viewers of One News PH on channels 8 and 250, and thank you also to our friends at PLDT for their home fiber optic internet that keeps us on the go, and of course to all of you who watch us via facebook.com/onenewsph as well as on YouTube. Today is June 27, 2022. It's a Monday, and we begin the day with our daily starter, and the daily starter goes: privacy is power. What people don't know, they can't ruin. Okay, maganda pong turo yan or paalaala. Privacy is power. Kung hindi mo nilalathala, hindi mo pinangangalandakan, you are not putting it on social media, then you are able to somehow keep your privacy. And because you do that, people can't just talk about it or be spoilers. Okay, now let's go to the front page of the Philippine Star, and here we go. For today's edition of the Philippine Star, the front page headline is China challenges AFP. Okay? Supply run to Ayungin. Meron po tayong pwesto. We have an outpost on the Ayungin Shoals. And when the AFP went over to restock the supplies and replace the contingents, the Chinese Coast Guard came to intercept, delay, harass the AFP contingent. Okay, but they were able to deliver the much needed supplies and replace the crew that needed a break. Okay, at the top of the front page, we have BBM to continue Rodi's beneficial programs. Okay, in a short chat during the inaugural of Vice President-elect Sara Duterte, BBM and PRRD, or President Duterte, were able to have a quick talk, and BBM promised to continue the beneficial programs. That photo there, okay, is a photo of the Antipolo Church, which is now officially the first international shrine, the Philippines' first international Marian shrine. And if I understand my religion subjects correctly, that would be a church devoted to the Virgin Mary. Okay, and then presidential advisor on entrepreneurship, Joey Concepcion, recently met with his team of with his fellow advisors in the Advisory Council of Experts for the Private Sector, and they agreed that we should all continue to wear face masks because the Filipinos don't see it as a big deal anyway, and it is very beneficial. The center photo you see there, that is the story I was talking about earlier, the batil. Yan pong on the lower part of the photo, that's a wooden boat which they use in many parts of outlying parts of the Philippines, particularly Palawan, delivering supplies to the BRP Sierra Madre on Ayungin Shoal. Okay. Meanwhile, outgoing Justice Secretary Guevara hopes that incoming Justice Secretary Remulla will finish the investigations regarding the drug war killings. Okay. And on the left part of the front page, lower front page, booster rollout for healthy kids 12 to 17 is delayed. I don't think it's for healthy kids. I believe it is for kids with compromised immunity because the Health Technology Assessment Council, or HTAC, required that if a booster rollout for kids 12 to 17 is to be done in certain communities, there must be 40% of the senior citizens covered by the first booster. So ganun, okay? Bago unahin yung bata, umpisahan, siguruhin muna or make sure that 40% of the senior citizens in the area have been given the first booster, or else mapapag-iwanan na naman, okay? Or for fear that if we keep advancing boosters all the way to the kids, the elderly who have not taken the booster will be left behind. Pag-asa announces, expect a rainy week ahead. Okay? Para sa inyong galit sa ulan, pasensya na. Okay, uulanin kayo. That center photo is a photo of Fuchsia Ann Ravenna of the Philippines, posing after being crowned winner of the 2022 Miss International Queen competition in Pattaya, Thailand. It is a beauty contest of transgender individuals. Okay. And last but not the least, the CHED, the Commission on Higher Education, their executives denies wrongdoing in the reappointment of a university president in Pangasinan who was, at the time of his reappointment, was actually still serving a 9-month suspension kuno daw. Okay? So I cannot comment on that because medyo legal po yun. But the CHED official, namely Commissioner Ronald Adamat, has denied any wrongdoing in the appointment of a university president in Pangasinan. Okay, so that's our the front page news. Now, if you are reading the papers, have been monitoring the increases in the prices of fuel, you might have picked up from one of our colleagues that a 22-kilometer trip, okay, yung biyahe daw na 22 kilometer, dulot-dulo ng Metro Manila, sabihin na natin, costs her 800 pesos. Okay, I remember the highest I ever paid for a taxi was for a limousine taxi, yung basic taxi ba, from Pasig here in Capitolio, Barangay Capitolio, to Naiya, 600. Pero that is a limousine taxi where you are picked up at the time you want to be picked up and brought to the place you're supposed to be going, particularly the airport. So, ngayon, wala nang ganon. 800 daw po. Okay, let's go to our first guest. Let's find out if we have the president of the Philippine National Taxi Operators Association. If we could roll out the introduction, Roy, please do so.
Jesus Bong Suntay currently serves as the president of the Philippine National Taxi Operators Association. Prior to this, he was the 4th District Representative of Quezon City. Suntay was also elected as the Deputy Majority Leader at the 18th Congress.
Tayo dito sa mga tao ko. Bakit artistahin yung picture mo, Mr. Suntay? Good morning.
Morning, Cito. Good morning. Good morning.
Akala ko kamukha mo yung isang presidential advisor ni BBM silang Dameo.
Si Anton.
Yeah.
Kamusta?
Okay, well, ikaw ang dapat namin kamustahan. It's you who we should be checking on because it seems that being a taxi operator, dati inggit na inggit kami sa inyo. I saw a photo in the Philippine Star, or was it Facebook, where there were hundreds of taxi units parked because it was better to park them than to drive them.
Yeah, Cito, it came out sa Philippine Star. That's sadly that's the situation now sa mga taxi fleet operator because of yung the continuous rising cost of fuel na talagang non-stop. Napakahirap na kumuha ng driver. So a lot of fleet operator mas gusto pang wag na lang patakbuhin yung unit nila dahil malulugi ka sa overhead cost eh.
Mhm.
Tapos nun wala ka rin makukuhang driver because a lot of drivers talagang umaangal na wala silang kinikita. Alam mo, yung current taxi fare was given way back nung 2017 pa. Ang basis nung taxi fare na yon was price ng fuel, ng gasolina, which should be between 38 to 42 pesos. Pero at an average ngayon, ang gasolina would cost you around 82 pesos or double the cost compared to way back 2017.
Okay, now, Bong, how do we go about this? Because there are various points on this issue. First of all, is it still viable to maintain taxi fleets? Can people still afford it? Because one of our fellow columnists, younger columnists, wrote that a 22-kilometer trip would have cost her 800 pesos on one of those Grab or I think Grab rides. And she said, I just canceled the trip altogether because it was going to be more expensive to make it to the venue than what she would earn going to the venue.
Okay, now ganito yan. I think yung nasakyan niya is TNVS kasi on the part ng sa taxi, sa regular meter or traditional taxi, wala pang fare increase na binibigay. So the rate is the rate is still the same. So in terms of viability to operate, alam mo ngayon ang I can say na ang nagso-survive ngayon sa mga taxi na bumabiyahe are those yung mga using auto LPG as fuel because now the price difference between auto LPG and regular gasoline nasa mga 40 pesos ang diferensya. So mas mura ang auto LPG, doon ka na lang makakapag-survive.
So ang taxi ba mas mura ba ang taxi sa biyahe?
Yes, mas mura kaysa doon sa TNVS.
How much cheaper per kilometer?
Now, I don't know, Cito, I don't know the new rate na binigay sa TNVS or if they're using a new rate. But traditionally, pre-pandemic, taxi should be around between 20 to 30% cheaper.
Okay, so mas mura pa rin ng taxi but the drivers feel that it's not worth their while to carry on driving. Now, how many taxis are we talking about? Because let's go with the statistics first. How many taxis, therefore how many drivers, therefore how many jobs are lost because of this situation?
Okay, pre-pandemic level in Metro Manila lang I don't have the statistics in the provinces, but in Metro Manila alone, pre-pandemic there should be between 27,000 to 34,000 taxi units flying at any given time. So it varies dahil may mga iba subject to yung coding, yung mga iba nasisira, but between 27,000 to 34,000. Now kung sa 34,000 ang bawat driver niyan, sasabihin mo na at least you have 2 drivers. So around between 68,000 ang taxi drivers ang apektado niyan. Nung pumasok yung March 2020 during the onset of yung COVID-19, sa fleet operators ang utilization rate bumaba by 30%. So sadly, dahil nga dahil dun sa mga travel restriction, yung mga work from home, closure ng mall, ng mga restaurant, 30% lang during the COVID pandemic ang bumabiyahing taxi. At many times, pagka yung extreme lockdown, zero pa yan. Zero yung bumabiyahe.
Mm.
So nung medyo nag-ease yung restriction nung December 2021, akala natin makakabawi, but sadly pagpasok ng January, diyan naman yung tuloy-tuloy na pagtaas ng presyo ng gasolina brought about by the Ukraine-Russia war and various other reasons.
Okay, so what are you looking at in terms of the industry's future? Will it simply be a downsizing solution? Will this result in the drastic removal of older units because they are now less fuel efficient? Or paano? Ano ang nakikitang solusyon ng mga taxi operators?
Now, dito of course, ang magiging effect nito is a drastic reduction ng number of units flying. Dahil ang sitwasyon ng operator, if you're a fleet operator, whether bumabiyahe yung taxi mo o hindi, you're subject to, siyempre, registration, insurance, regulatory fees. And it doesn't, it doesn't make sense na i-maintain mo pa rin yung fleet size mo, hindi naman na-utilize yan. So pinapataas mo lang yung overhead expense mo. So definitely magbabawas ka ng unit. Ang on the part of the operators, kahit na magbawas ka ng unit, wala naman bibiling bagong unit dahil nalulugi ka na nga, papalakihin mo pa yung gastos mo pagka bumili ka ng unit. So they will try to utilize yung mga existing units nila. And alam mo, karamihan naman dyan, while siguro mga latter models, marami dyan low mileage pa rin kasi kagaya nung mga nag-refleet way back nung 2019, tinamaan tayo ng pandemic for more than about 2 years. So hindi rin nagamit yung mga unit na yun, nakapark lang sa mga garahe yun.
Mm-hmm. So, but also in the same token, Bong, those units, many of those naka-bank loan, hindi ba? Naka-auto loan. So, hindi lang pala operators problem, yung operational problem, kung hindi also paying for their loans.
That's true. Madami talagang naipitan that, of course, yung premiums yan, yung bank charges, tuloy-tuloy yan. Pero hindi naman kumikita yung mga unit. So, yan yung picture ng the taxi industry. But of course, we're still hopeful na later on those that who survive kahit papano would be able to recover. Pero the only way na we see anything recovering or anyone moving ngayon, ang pinaka iniintindi natin is yung mga taxi driver. Wala na talagang kinikita yung taxi driver. Kaya nga I spoke with the other mga taxi operators dun sa association namin, whether dito sa Manila and the provinces. And sinabi ko sa kanila, I tried to convince them, manghingi muna tayo ng provisional fare increase. That is the fastest way na matutulungan namin yung mga driver. At the same time, matutulungan yung operator. Kasi magkasama yan eh. Pagka natulungan natin yung driver kumita, maglalabas sila ng unit. Pag naglabas sila ng unit, yung operator, kahit papano, mabibiyayaan yan. And the fastest way to do it is a provisional fare increase. May precedent na dati yan eh, yung meter plus 20. Yeah. Wala nang meter calibration na gagawin because yung meter calibration is a long process at saka magastos yan. Samantalang pagka provisional fare increase na meter plus 20, sticker lang ang nilalagay sa dashboard at yung taxi fare is meter plus 20 pesos. At madali pa ma-implement. Now, kung sakasakaling bumaba ang pasahe, madali rin tanggalin yan, madaling bawiin.
Okay, now aside from that, what about on the side of government regulation? Kasi may mga nagsasabi na we should look into how to reduce government meddling in business. I'm not just talking about transport, but in business as a whole. But for the transport sector, particularly in taxi, malaki bang impluensya or does the, I think you're only under the LTFRB and the LTO, but economically speaking or in terms of the economics, malaki bang binabayaran ninyo sa LTFRB and can you, if they were to reduce fees, etc., would it be substantial in at least the survival of taxis in the Philippines?
Of course, malaking tulong. Kagaya ngayon, since before, alam mo, nire-require yung mga taxi operator, kailangan on a per unit basis, kailangan mag-subscribe ka ng GPS, yung Global Positioning System. Mm-hmm. Supposedly, para matrack ng LTFRB kung ilan ang bumabiyahe. Pero hindi naman konektado sa kanila. So hindi din nila nalalaman kung ilan din yung taxing bumabiyahe. Dahil yung pinapakabit nilang GPS hindi naman centralized sa kanila. So it's just an additional expense, a monthly expense na binabayaran on a per unit basis kasi pinagsasubscribe ka nila sa GPS provider. So another thing is yung requirement na kailangan naka-CCTV yung mga unit mo sa loob. Mm-hmm. Tapos nun, you store the data, you keep the data para for a couple of days. Laborious process rin yun. Mm-hmm. So, ang daming pwedeng tanggalin.
So meron ka nung emissions test, meron ka ng GPS, meron kang onboard dashcam, ano pa?
And ang pinakamalaking epekto, alam mo, kagaya yung fare increase. It's a tedious process to ask for a fare increase and it's always an unpopular process. Kaya usually it takes a long time. Minsan tapos na yung problema, hindi pa na aaksyonan yung petisyon. Unlike in some countries, it's being pegged sa yung fare, kagaya sa Australia, is being pegged doon sa cost of living at saka cost of gasoline. Pag bumababa ang cost of gasoline, automatic bababa yung taxi fare. Pag tumaas naman, automatic rin, without filing a petition, iaangat rin nila yung taxi fare.
Correct.
So that is a more responsive process. Kaya nga doon sa proposal ko, yung meter plus, yung provisional fare increase, that would be responsive doon sa problema. Pag tumaas ang presyo ng fuel, tataas yung plus. Pagka naman bumaba, then tatanggalin.
Okay. Meron ba bong metrics or is there a mechanism also that monitors the number of taxis in Metro Manila or a given area so that we don't have too many TNVS and taxis operating? Kasi may mga nagsasabi din na ang problema dyan is that we also have too many vehicles on the road. As you said, meron ng GPS taxi, wala namang centralized monitoring center. Yung TNVS, I don't know if they're doing that, but do you guys even know how many of you are out in that market competing or killing each other?
Wala. There's no idea kung ilan ang bumabiyahe at any particular time.
Okay, then how much is the government getting from you guys per unit for not doing any of this?
Siguro, aside from the taxes, but in terms of regulatory fees, so siguro ang nakukuha niya on a per unit basis if you compute all the fees is around mga 7,000 plus per unit. Excluding yung insurance. Pero sa iba napupunta yun .
Mhm. Pero hindi, merong mga nangungumisyon din doon sa insurance.
Yeah.
And I can say that with authority because I have made exposés on that shenanigan. But okay, so clearly the government is making 7,000 per unit. Hindi alam ng marami yon of taxi. Pwera pa yung TNVS. And yet there is no monitoring, there is no territory protection. Kumbaga sa fast food, hindi sila magbibigay ng franchise kung alam nilang they will simply be competing against each other o kaming mga magsasabong o nagbe-breed. Hindi kami nagbebenta para maglaban lang yung manok namin laban sa manok namin, di ba?
Yeah, oo.
So what can be done? Have you made representations to the incoming administration? Kasi parang nga nangyari sa LTFRB, nagtengang kawali.
Well, alam mo, Cito, yung problema kasi, a lot of people being appointed as chairman ng LTFRB does not have a background dun sa transport sector. So hindi nila alam kung ano yung nagiging problema. It's always a learning curve, a learning process for them. Pero kung wala ka dun sa industriya na yon, hindi mo talaga nalalaman kung ano yung problema at ano yung magiging solusyon.
Okay, well, unfortunately, that failure on the part of political appointees destroys businesses, takes away jobs, etc. So we do hope you will keep telling us this information, Bong, and we will support the taxi operators kasi as you pointed out, mag-ilan ka mo? 60,000-70,000 jobs ang nakataya.
That's true. Thank you very much, Cito. Talagang we hope na yung problema mabigyan ng solusyon ng agarang solusyon ng ating pamahalaan dahil talagang kawawa naman kahit para sa mga drivers na lang.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Bong Suntay, President of the Philippine National Taxi Operators Association. Have a good day, Bong.
Thank you.
Okay.
Have a good day.
Okay, we'll go for a quick break, and when we return, we tackle another problem. Ito naman po, transparency sake, no? I am a breeder of pangsabong, mga Texas, gamefowl. But I do not sell. It's not my livelihood, it's my hobby. And I discovered that there are certain government regulations that while it is addressing poultry, ay tinamaan din yung magpapato, mag-iitik, magpapabo at lalo na itong mga magsasabong who sell chickens. If you are somewhat knowledgeable, alam naman ninyo na yung Bacolod, the city of Bacolod or Negros is well known for the green legs. Hindi po ito mga aling berde ang bihita. Green legs, mga roosters, mga pansabong. It seems that certain policies of the Bureau of Animal Industry is not just limiting the transport of roosters or chickens, it is also parang a underhanded tactic to force game fowls, breeders, or farm owners, backyard poultry, to forcibly register. Okay, we will tackle that when we return after the break. Welcome back to the program agenda. I'm your host, Cito Beltran. And at this stage of our program, let's tackle a headache that is being experienced by poultry owners, by people who are transporting poultry, livestock, maging pato, manok, pabo, etc. But in particular, being lamented by gamefowl breeders in the Visayas, namely in Negros and Iloilo. Let's get to know the latest from our sabongeros here with this video.
Jojo Delgado and Marco Jison are gamefowl breeders. Jojo is a businessman who owns a construction company and was also a former seaman. Marco, meanwhile, is a pharma distributor and a member of Young Guns Iloilo.
Okay, talaga ang dating mga hasyendero ng pangsabong. Welcome to the program, gentlemen. I'll start with you, Jojo, because ikaw interesting yung story mo. You were a former seaman, marino ka, bumabiyahe ka, and then you started your own construction company, and ngayon meron kang hobby na nagiging parang business, which is a game farm, along with Marco Jison. What is the situation regarding, kasi ang report sa akin, yung BAI, Bureau of Animal Industry, ay naglabas ng memorandum on a ban on the transport of poultry or livestock. And ang nangyari, para ka ma-exempt doon sa ban, kailangan mag-register ka sa farm, pero para maka-register ka ng farm, hindi ka tulad naming magbababoy, magpapalista lang sa City Hall at sa barangay, kailangan daw meron pa kayong SEC ba yun? DTI, etc. Ikaw na nga magkwento, Jojo. Nakamute ka, Bok. Okay.
Good morning, Sir Cito, and sa mga televiewers natin. Yun nga yung problema namin sa breeder. Kasi yung shipping natin ngayon, nire-required kami yung meron tayong mga blood test, mga kukuha pa kami ng DTI, MERS permit. So, siyempre as a breeder, kasi yung meron tayong mga kaibigan, mostly yung mga malalaking sa sabong industry natin is nandyan sa Luzon. So, mahirap din para sa amin na yung requirements kanya, yung mga kaibigan din namin na mga maliliit, sa amin pupunta, humingi din tulong kasi actually medyo may kalakihan yung farm namin compare sa kasama namin. So, yun nga yung requirements na nire-require ng bahay sa amin. So kailangan namin sundin yung mga inihiling nila. So yung nagawa ko, humingi ako ng tulong dun sa mga, kasi meron kaming mga keeper na regular. So sila yung isang tumutulong sa amin na ayusin yung mga papers na requirements na hiningi ng bahay.
Okay, now Marco Jison, you're a pharmaceutical product distributor. You are a game farm owner. Ano bang ikaw? You're in Iloilo, Marco, correct?
Yes. Good morning, Kuya Cito. Yes, I'm from Iloilo.
Okay, ano ba ang situation? Kasi ang sumbong sa akin, dapat ang issue lang avian flu. Pero parang lahat daw nadamay na, and it has affected the export of pangsabong from Negros, Iloilo to Luzon, where your biggest markets are. What is the problem? What's going on?
As the way I look at things, Kuya Cito, it was never a problem so far for me, because this time the table food or the poultry products such as yung mga 28 days na poultry products natin, even they all were already allowed by the Bureau of Animal Industry and the Secretary there sa Department of Agriculture to ship the day-old chicks.
Mhm.
So how come na yung sa gamefowl natin, they were not allowed Luzon going outside to different provinces in Manila or in we both, I know they are technical when it comes to vaccinations. The same way as part of sa mga gamefowl breeders, we do also the vaccinations of our gamefowl. So if they were allowed to ship all those day-old chicks, how come na yung sa natin sa gamefowl hindi or nowadays that the traditional sabong was already open? There's a lot of breeding materials, battle stocks, battle cocks in demand outside of provinces from Luzon. So parang medyo mahirap din ang konti sa aming mga gamefowl breeders yung situations. Kasi I heard it's only 2 months na after the blood sampling, we were only allowed 2 months, another 2 months again na mag-go through another process. Wherein they all naman inaalaw.
So hindi consistent yung requirements, depende on the province, depende on sino naka-duty, etc. But Jojo, ano ba ang naging impact? Kasi okay, ikaw medyo mukhang maganda yung farm mo, malaki yung farm mo, pero yung karamihan na alam kong nagbebenta ng mga manok out of Negros and even in other provinces, mga backyard breeders lang yan, mga hobbyist katulad ko na kumisa nakakabenta isa, dalawa, ngayon pala hindi na sila pwedeng mag-ship to Manila? Or is it all over the country?
Yes, Sir Cito, sad to say, yun yung hinaing ng mga maliliit na breeders natin. Kasi, siyempre, malaki rin, yung sa Luzon kasi, nandyan yung malaking opportunities nila na mag-champion, malakihan yung nagiging premyo. So, yun nga yung kaming mga breeders, maliit man o malaki, nag-uusap sa mga ganyang sitwasyon kung ano yung magandang solusyon or ano bang pwede namin gawin. So kaso, in this time, wala kaming magagawa kasi yun yung required sa amin ng Bureau of Animal Industry. So sa ngayon, nagpa-follow na lang kami ng mga requirements kung ano yung binibigay na sa amin.
Pero, Jojo, totoo ba yung nabigay sa aking information na kailangan daw bago ka makaship? Kasi hindi ko naisip yung sinasabi mo. Akala ko naapektuhan lang yung benta. Meron palang mga breeders dyan who want to compete in the big derbies in Metro Manila, katulad ng World Slasher, etc. Kasi malaki yung premyo, but also more than anything, doon ka pwedeng sumikat. So mas maraming bibili ng mga manok mo, correct?
Yes.
And they cannot participate because sobrang daming restrictions just to travel for their fighting cocks to travel to Luzon or to Metro Manila. Now, totoo ba yung nabigay sa aking information? Kailangan daw meron kang magpa-test na yung farm ay free of avian influenza. Para gawin yon, pupunta ka sa BAI, magpapadala sila ng ahente, pagkatapos mag-iintay ka pa ng 1 buwan para makuha yung results?
Actually, that's true. Actually, ako sa ngayon, nagpa-process pa lang ako ng yung blood samples natin. So, yung process is pupuntahan kanilang farm pag mag-request ka. Then I think 31 chickens ata yung kukunan nila ng blood samples tapos ipapadala pa nilang Manila. So yun yung first step na ginagawa ng Bureau of Animal Industry to check kung yung sa Newcastle disease natin vaccination, kailangan din nating nagre-require din sila na kailangan natin mag-vaccine. I think 2 to 3 weeks before the shipment, kailangan may vaccination ka.
Pero hindi ba nakaka-apekto yon sa manok? Kasi ang alam ko lang hindi naman sa nagmamarunong ako. Yung Marco, yung kinakain na sabi mo nga 45-day-old, those chickens cannot be treated with any kind of medicine kung ikukonsumo. Itong kay Jojo, ilalaban niya. Baka pagdating ng manok sa Manila, masahol pa sa drug addict yung itsura ng manok niya.
And it really will create so much stress and hassle sa manok and as well as to the breeders, and especially kuya how about for some farms na in the remote islands where they have to ship out sa mainland, like for example we consider part of the Masbate or mga Mindoro Islands na yan, the mainland, doon ka magpapa-blood sampling niya. Imagine how much stress it will create sa game fowls natin. And as you mentioned, yung manok going to Manila, if we pass all the tests, we will have the permits. Like on my part, yung sinabi mong World Slaughter's Cup na manok, I have my entry on the first World Slaughter's Cup. Until now, I can't return my roosters here in Iloilo. So doon pa rin nakakabinbin siya sa Maynila. Like even the imported breeding materials, it will take some time, around I think 3 months na nakahold on, hindi pa papadala sa amin. Wherein we also follow some protocols and quarantine procedures.
Mm-hmm.
Because of this, if they all were allowed, how come na yung ito hindi pa nila allowed? I consider siguro Secretary Dar to reiterate or review this as a memorandum circular that they issued about this.
But what about the accusation that it is being used to force all the farms to register, etc., etc.? Kasi ang isa pang sumbong sa akin, Kuyang, you need to have an SEC DTI registration, and then you have to get the mayor's permit, and then you have to get the kung ano-ano, parang sobrang dami ng requirements. Sabi nila, backyard breeder lang po kami, Sir Cito, para naman kami nagtatayo ng korporasyon, isang kahig, isang tuka lang kami, ba't pa kailangan namin? Dahil kung bakuna lang, okay na yon. Pero yung sinasabi ni Jojo, may blood sample, may vaccine requirement 21 days before shipping. And then pagdating pala sa Metro Manila, pumasa papasok, hindi basta-basta makakalaya, hindi makakalabas.
At saka yung point doon is what about yung papakonti-konti lang I think they really require it because they will ship right now. Who knows, baka next year na yung next na shipping niya. So it will create, we have to know the reality na mangyayari. Ay ipapasingit lang sa ibang may permits. So parang tayo na tuturo na you have to do this way.
Okay. Yan yung sinasabi mo, yung nakikiangkas. Hindi po ito yung hindi po ito yung ride hailing app, mga kaibigan, Jojo, yung nakikiangkas sa permit, because I remember during the time of my father Louis Beltran, may mga taong nakakakuha ng permit sa Bureau of Animal Industry back in the 70s and 80s, and hindi naman nag-i-import ng manok. Sila actually shipper processor. Ang gagawin, pagagamit sa iyo yung kanilang permit for a fee on the condition na pag bumili ka ng manok from the United States, sila yung mag-ship at magpro-process. Lagaring hapon, dalawa ang hiwa sa iyo. Jojo.
Actually, that's the reality naman, Sir Cito eh. Kasi yun yung sabi ni Sir na yung iba, pakonti-konti lang, siyempre, kailangan, yung sabi mo kanina, kailangan din magbenta para mabuhay yung farm. Kaya kahit pa paano, siyempre, gagastos pa sila ng mga, sa dami-dami ng permits at documents na kailangan na bago ka maging regular na magtagabenta ng manok or going to Manila. So, aangkas ka na lang talaga. Yun yung sabi ni Sir Marco. Kasi maliit na yung backyard magpapadala siguro malaki na yung 10, 5. So, siyempre yung considering na yung mga feeds ngayon grabing sobrang taas na. Tapos papahirapan pa kahit sa mga permits na.
what is the cost involved here? Magkano yung magagastos mo para magpa-farm test, para magpa-vaccinate? I mean, vaccinate lahat naman ng sabongero. Number one priority yan. Sisiw pa lang, binabakunahan na yan. Day old, binabakunahan na yan. At there is about a series of 7 vaccines through the lifetime of a chicken. But what is the expected cost kung talagang ipilit yan ng BAI at ng Department of Agriculture? How much does a farm owner need to spend?
Honestly, yung sa akin, di ko pa na total kasi nagpa-process pa lang ako. So maybe Sir Marco can detaljate kung magkano talaga yung
Marco.
As of this time, Kuya, because what I'm doing right now is I have coordinated with BMEG to support us. Mm-hmm. So the initial conversation namin with the BMEG guys is they're going to help some kids or donate some kids dito sa isang government entity who is doing that. Specifically, it's BAI, but I've heard it's more or less 50 or 60,000 for the kit, which I don't know. We have a friend.
Are you saying, Marco, that the government requires testings for which they don't have testing equipment?
No. The company is willing to donate some kits. But maybe sa DA yata sa province, they are also providing. I have a friend that nagpunta doon, then the DA yung nagpunta sa sa farm nila and provided. I don't know about the certain fees as of this moment kung magkano yung total na binayaran nila. But yung alam ko, it's every 2 months or otherwise kung kukuha ka ng mga mayor's permit, DTI mong ganyan, so yung effectivity niya is 6 months. So every 6 months or 2 months, magpa-blood sampling ka. And the high risk dito is yung sinasabi nating angkas-angkas. For example, if you a good Samaritan, pinaangkas mo yung isang kaibigan mo, what if pagdating ng Maynila, nag-positive yung manok niya, so chances are yung babalikan yung farm mo. Doon siguro susunugin tayo doon.
Okay. So right now, ano ang mga napapag-usapan in the community? Kasi malaking industry yan for Negros and for Iloilo. Dito sa Luzon, mostly puro sabong ang pinagkakaabalahan. But for people in Negros and Iloilo, it is a backyard industry. It is a commercial business. Anong pinag-uusapan nyo dyan? Paano yan? How can you continue breeding and producing if you cannot ship to Luzon? Actually,
both ways siguro, Kuya. Not only yung may masasabi natin irreparable damage dito is not only the Visayas or the Mindanao group, but as well as Luzon team. Kasi yung Luzon, they cannot ship out materials also going to provinces. So on our part, actually we can ship if we do have permits already going to Luzon. Yung problema, yung Luzon, yun yung hindi makakalabas going to Mindanao and Visayas. Kami, we can manage to ship there in Luzon na with all the permits. Pero yung sa Luzon, sila yung hindi makakalabas ngayon. So sila yung mas lalong tatamaan yung Luzon breeders.
They cannot also compete in the Visayas and Mindanao where certain national competitions have a requirement na dapat sumama ka sa certain legs, and then yung mga breeders dito or importers dito na pwede ring magpadala ng breeding material sa Visayas hindi makapagpadala. So parang magkakanya-kanya na tayo ng farm. Parang it will break up the community, so to speak.
Yes. Where nowadays pa na bukas na yung traditional sabong, it creates or it helps a lot in the economy of the sabong industry. Lahat sana umiikot na ngayon . So siguro kung pwede nilang ma-review, and then same as with the poultry table chickens na remember sinarado nila yan na hindi makalabas yung mga sisyo. But then lately they opened it because especially here in the Visayas there's no breeder farms ng mga poultry chickens na yan. So wala ngayon the poultry meat nagra-rise yung lahat ng presyo.
Yeah.
Kaya
So
naman
hindi lang pala pang sabong ang problema, pati yung mga day-old chicks, yung mga 45 layer and meat chicken na kailangan mo ng day-old, hindi rin mapadala from Luzon where many of the farms are, hindi rin mapadala sa Visayas, Mindanao. So talagang double blade ang tama natin.
Last 2 months, they didn't allow those poultry table chicks to be transported from Luzon to other areas. But considering na wala nang kakainin yung tao, wala nang isusupply tayo sa mga nito, like considering we will say Jollibee, Andox, ganyan, or whatever the fast food companies, wala nang maipapakain na manok eh. So what they did is they lift the ban, inallow nila ngayon yung sisiyo na makalabas na. So same as siguro with gamefowl, if they'll allow it, the industry will also help a lot in this economy, especially these trying times ng pandemic natin.
Alam nyo mga kaibigan, you may be wondering about our conversation this morning, but proof of all of this was 2 days ago when my daughter arrived from the Netherlands and her first request was Jollibee. We had to do 2 orders. Walang mabiling chicken daw doon sa Jollibee outlet dito. They had to order from McDonald's. And sa McDonald's, puro 1-piece chicken. So they had to order 2 orders ng 1-piece chicken para lang mapuno yung expectation ng anak namin. So clearly, we have a problem, or we had a problem with avian flu. The Department of Agriculture and the BAI responded, but sometimes they use an atomic bomb to kill something with a shotgun. So ayan po ang nangyari, lahat damay-damay. Anyway, gentlemen, I hope that by bringing attention to this problem, people will understand na hindi lang sabong ang apektado, pati pala yung mga day-old chicks and syempre livelihood ni imong mga Bisaya. Okay, imo mga Ilonggo. Okay, kamong tanan. Okay, so thank you very much, gentlemen. More power to you, and our best wishes for your business. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, that's Jojo Delgado and Marco Jison. And let's now go to our blessing for the week. And please listen up, because it's a blessing for all of you. From Genesis chapter 12, verses 2 to 3, I will make you into a great nation, and I will bless you. I will make your name great, and you will be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and whoever curses you, I will curse. And all peoples on earth will be blessed through you. God bless the Philippines. Have a great day. I'm Cito Beltran, thanking you for joining us here on Agenda. Please keep it here on One News PH.